My guest today actually had Dionysus himself show up in the flesh to her wedding. Stay tuned to find out more.
He's a Florida witch with something to say. Your friendly old sage with a teddy bear face. The Alexian show. The magic's on its way. He's all set to play, so let's not delay. Welcome to Alexian show.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexian, and joining me today is my co-host, Draken.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Yep.
Another month has passed.
I know.
Doing good, doing good. Show 19. Show 19.
It's amazing.
It is. Time is
Doesn't feel
just
like it.
flying. I swear. I feel like we wrap up one of these shows, and before I know it, I'm preparing for the next one. You know, it's
Yeah.
just
Exactly.
pop them out.
Yeah.
Well, we got
Well,
a
time-
really cool show today. I'm excited.
Oh yeah. I'm excited. I was gonna say though, time really flies because you'll see we've got pictures.
Yeah, little pre-shadow there, little pre-shadow. So I have a suggestion, just, a suggestion. If you don't have time to watch now, why not listen on your drive to work or even while you're taking a shower? It's a great way to fit our show into your day. I actually listen to a lot of podcasts and truth be told, Bitcoin videos in the shower. I'm always checking the markets, but yeah, I also have some analytics as always. I can't believe this. You ready? As of last night, we have now gained another 1,340 plus new subscribers since the last show, bringing our total subscribers now to over 20,340 subscribers on YouTube. I am so blessed.
Yeah.
I just love you to death, Draken. We've done it. We're making it happen.
Yeah.
And the number one the number one country, which in Espanol, I think is País. I'm learning Spanish.
Yeah, good.
That just popped into my head. Thank you, Duolingo. The number one spot is the USA for viewers.
Okay.
And coming
finally.
in second is Brazil once again. And Mexico came in third.
Woo.
So, yay. Thank you for watching. We are so thankful for all our viewers. Without your continued support, this would not be possible. And we want to know where you're watching from today. So comment in the YouTube chat and tell us where you're tuning in live from today. Draken is covering the comments. So yay, Marin, good to see you.
Yay.
Thank you for setting your alarm. That's awesome. I love you.
Of course, Sandra's here, as always.
I'm sorry?
I said, of course, Sandra's here with us, as always.
Sandra in the house.
Yep.
Yes. If you tuned in live, make sure you hit that live button by the volume to stay in real time, because you need to be in real time to win those prizes at the end of the show. So right next to the volume on YouTube, there's a little word. It says live. If you click it, it pops you forward. You can always watch the rest of the show later, right?
Yes.
All right. So enough of that housekeeping. What have you been up to, Draken?
It's been a crazy month. But most importantly, I have been on a kick. My kids and I have been on an ancestry kick, and really trying to find going up my mother's side, because my mother's family, her mother was the only person in the family that escaped Nazi Germany.
Oh, wow.
So finding that information is difficult. But I've been on that journey, and while I was doing that, I finally did the paid version because you can get more. And when I did that, it was like, hey, we've got some hints here for you, Anna Marie Trowbridge. And I was like, And it was pictures of me in high school and you in high school, because we have known each other a very, very, very long time. Don't you love this? So this is us doing the facts of life. That's Alexian and I at the top, and then
Yeah.
Alexian with his cute little mustache below.
Yeah. Drawn on at that point in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah, exactly. And then I'm sure that was in choir. I don't know what we were doing when you were playing there, but that was pretty
Yeah, I
much where
used
you
to be
always
the
were.
accompanist for concert choir, and somebody
Yeah.
came in and took a picture of me. They said, "We want a picture of you for the yearbook." I'm like, okay. So I'm playing the piano. They ended up doing a whole page spread on me
Yep.
because I applied to go to Berkeley and, got in and all that good stuff. So they were doing a spread on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here is another one.
Yeah.
With the blurry faces there. That's band. That's the marching band.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
So
one's from you.
Draken and I did a duet that we threw together at the last second in drama for high school. Our teacher threw the assignment at us 2 weeks
Yeah.
before the contest. Freaked us out. We had to after school meet up and practice every night for 2 weeks to get this duet act together.
Yeah.
And it was about a very amorous young lady who had a crush on the boy, and the boy was very inexperienced and a little afraid and kind of pulled away. That's why I'm sitting on the edge of my chair away from her in the photo. And it actually did so well that we ended up coming in, was it second
in state
at state competition. We actually went through district and went to state, and it was like a huge thing for Missouri, which is where we're both from. So that was kind of fun, reminiscing, and then here we are in drama class.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Welcome to Eastland. That was when we were doing the Facts of Life play. And finally, there's our senior pictures. Yeah. Look at me with a boom box in the upper right corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I loved that thing because it was all of a sudden there was portable music with batteries, but it actually had bass. It had boom, boom, boom. So that was like the huge thing back in the 80s. So yeah, we go way back. Yep. We go way back. We keep saying that to you guys that are watching, but there's some photographic proof.
Yeah. Kind of show you a little bit more about just how far we go back and how old we really are.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've been doing ancestry, researching your roots.
Yeah. So I actually did the DNA thing quite a few years ago because my daughter bought one for me. And I had really no surprises in mine. But now it's like everybody else is finally kind of getting on board, and like my mom's going to do it, my dad and Alicia, and
It's really cool. It really is. And
it blows me away. I started going up Brandon's family tree.
Yeah.
In 3 days, I got it back to 1710.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So amazing. My name is supposed to be from Germany, and when I did my DNA, not so much. Apparently, DNA blood-wise, I am a Viking. I am Norwegian. So there's more Norwegian in me on my dad's side than German. And my family comes from Germany when they immigrated to the U.S. So there's a whole situation there because I was told my whole life that, we were German, but not so much, apparently.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. So I've just been, I don't, have a lot to talk about. I've just been knocking tasks out, trying to catch up after that huge love spell project. I'm still behind in my Chant of the Month Club. So I thought I would just talk about real quickly the Cool Cats, which is my online community. I would like to share briefly about that. It's called the Cool Cats, and it's my pagan community where we gather and we share magic and support each other. There's even a free circle that you heard that right. It's free. called the Paw Pal Circle. And even in the free circle, we do Bonfire Bardic Circle twice a month, where we meet and we chat and we recite poetry and sing songs and chants and drum. We've had people share crystal collections. I'm still waiting for somebody to dance. That still hasn't happened yet. But we also do weekly spiritual challenges. So I come up with a spiritual challenge that's pagan based, and everybody jumps in and does the challenge. And when you participate in the community, even when you're just commenting on other people's posts, the platform gives you points. So you get community points. But when you do challenges, I think it's 100 points right now. You get 100 points. And those community points are not just points. You can actually cash them in the future towards coupons towards my upcoming educational courses on my website. So you get rewarded just for participating in the community. So if you're interested, it's alexianmusic.com/community. And you can step into the circle and lend your voice to the magic.
And it is
love to see
a
you
lot
there.
of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have fun, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We really do.
I've made some really cool things in the challenges. So
yeah, I even have one student, Wiccan student, that met me through the community. She joined the community and she became part of my inner circle because of that.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, I want to take a second to congratulate Natasha, who won last month's Arcane Treasure Giveaway. So congrats, Natasha. We didn't get a picture from her this time, but I wanted to say thank you for participating and rolling in the giveaway at the end. Okay. Wendy Rule is our guest today. So excited. Yeah. But if you want to be a guest on our show or know someone who may be perfect, just tell them to visit alexianmusic.com/guest and fill out the little form there. It's that easy. How's chat going?
Chat's going good. We've got Ocala, Florida, Colorado, Foley, Alabama. Sorry, I think I need new glasses. Age.
Feel ya.
But yeah, I mean it's pretty active so far. I'm looking forward to fielding some good questions.
Excellent. Yes. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Word has it that each one of those actions gets you one step closer to winning the Arcane Treasures giveaway at the end of the show. And while you're at it, be a helper. Be a helper. Share the show with your like-minded friends on your socials. In fact, if you know somebody that might be lounging around right now, shoot them a text. Say, come on over. YouTube.com/Lord Alexian. They might win the prize. You never know.
Yeah.
And as Draken was just saying, remember, it's an interactive show. So your questions and your questions are very much appreciated, and we will get answers for them. Draken's covering the YouTube comments, so don't be shy. Just ask your questions by typing them in.
Yes. And a reminder, if you come in late, you need to hit the live button.
Hit the live button by the volume.
Yeah, you need to be live so that you can participate in the giveaway.
That's right.
All too often, there's at least one that didn't hit the live button.
I know. We keep saying it.
Join us live.
Gotta be live.
Yep.
Live with us, not buffered.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring on our guest.
It's time for Enchanted Verse.
She is an internationally acclaimed visionary songstress, blending pagan spirituality, myth, and magic into her hauntingly beautiful music. With over 2 decades of enchanting audiences worldwide, she has released numerous albums and tours extensively, weaving stories of the goddess, the underworld, and the stars. Please, everyone, welcome the extraordinary Wendy Rule to the show.
Hi, everyone. So lovely to be here.
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited. Now, we first connected through email
Yep.
back in the late 1990s.
Yep, we really did. I think I came to, I think that my very first tour of the States in 2001, you organized a show for me that very first tour.
Yeah. My husband, Victor, had reached out to you about carrying your CDs in our online store, paganmusic.com.
Yeah.
And we stocked all of your CDs and instantly fell in love with your voice and your music. And then later, we helped you connect with the US distributors. Remember that?
That's right. I do.
Can you believe that was around? I looked it up. I found the emails from 28 years ago. It was 1997.
Oh, bless you for that. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for Google search, Google search in Gmail made it a lot easier. But yes, it was from 1997. And since then, like you said, we've produced several concerts for you here in Orlando. And we even hosted one at our home. Remember that?
I think you've done that a couple of times,
Might have been a couple of times. Yeah. Victor, but to sum it up, Victor and I have just loved your music. And there's a photo of us. Look at my chunky self with my long hair.
Look at me fitting into that corset. Well, almost fitting in, at least.
There you are with Victor.
Oh, that's
signing
so sweet.
CD. Yeah, that's from a long time ago, guys.
Yeah, that's very early days for me. Yeah.
And then we had, I think this was close to Yule, thus the tree in the background.
Yeah.
And we had done a concert together. I did half of it, and you did the other half.
That's right.
And this is the crowd doing a circle in the room. Yeah, it was.
I have such fond memories of all those visits to you and Victor. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, we're very blessed to have known you. Oh, and I have one more thing. I fell in love. You remember I fell in love with the song Prometheus.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that is from your album Zero.
Yeah.
And to me, I have to just say this. The reason I fell in love with it, because you really caught the essence of Prometheus going through that cycle of torture, right? Every day the raptor comes, to rip out his, depending on who you talk to, it's something different, but liver, gizzard, whatever. But through that cycle of self-torture almost, it really hit me somehow. And I was like really moved by it. So I had asked you, oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorite songs of yours. One of my favorite songs of yours. But I asked you if I could record it, and you so graciously gave me permission, and I did re-record it. So there's the original album Zero that Prometheus is on, and then I released the single called Promise Me, Prometheus. Right? And because one of the lyrics is, let me die, but promise me I'll die. Promise
it's like feed on me, feed on me, feed on me, but promise me I'll die for the last time.
For the last time. There it is. Yeah, for the last time. Oh my God. Like, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant lyric. It really is.
Thank you.
So thank you for allowing me to record it. Like, wow.
Of course. You're my friend.
So let's dive in and talk about your creative side. What is your writing process for a new song? Where does your inspiration come from, and what's your process?
Well, as a writer, sometimes it's still a mystery to me, Often it starts with a concept or a desire, like say something like that. Obviously, I love mythology, so there would have been an inspiration of somehow that myth was hitting home to me on a personal level. So sometimes a melody will come that's almost like a gift from the fairies. I think of it like that. It just, as I might be hiking or doing something that trances me out, walking or driving or whatever. and this melody will just come, or sometimes I'll wake up with it, you know, and then it might be like, oh, wow, that would really fit that thing I've been thinking about, what that theme, you know, that feels like that. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it might be a single line starts it off, like say with Prometheus, so you've come again, you know, and it's just that starts the ball rolling. But it's always a little of a movement back and forth. In the early days, I was writing on guitar, but wasn't performing guitar. I wasn't good enough, you know, it was clunky, but I was still using it to write. But usually the entire song was already composed in my head.
Yeah.
And then I'll grab my guitar and work out how to chart the chords, you know, with a chord book, like, oh, it's got an E. Is it an E major, E minor, E diminished, E, you know, and I'd go through like that, like on the guitar, like in my early days. Yeah, it's still a bit of a mystery for me. I always feel a sense of relief when a new song comes through. I bet you've kind of can identify with that, this feeling of like, oh, wow, this thing didn't exist and now it does.
Oh, it's like giving birth. It really is.
It really is. It's a miracle.
It's a whole process, and it's sometimes it's frustrating, and other times it's easy, and
yeah, exactly.
sometimes it just literally just comes through, and it's like of another world. Yeah,
I have a few songs like that, like my song "Hail to the Moon," which I actually sang this morning for the full moon on you know, socials. Did a little post, but that was just instantaneous. That just started with "Hail," you know, "Hail to the moon in a silver light," and it just, and it was done. It's like, oh, you know, like minutes. And the same with my song "Eve" was a bit like that. That's on my Meadowlark album, and also my song "First Light" was like that. It just rolled out, you know. And then other ones, it feels like deeply painful or anguish, even if it's not necessarily, even if it's a joyful song, it can just feel like extracting a tooth, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you never know, but you got to honor it, even when there is, if something is there and it wants to emerge, you can't give up on it just because it's difficult. So yeah, sometimes it's, I'm out hiking, an idea comes, maybe some lyrics anchor to that and create a little riff of some sort. Then I'll often just come home and then I'll start journaling and pen to paper and start. Yeah, but it's still, I don't have a set way, but I know my inspiration, is always coming from nature, spirit, the fae, all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I call it my muses, you know, whatever that may be.
Exactly.
And that can be people. It could be myself, because like you say, sometimes you say things in the height of, you know, inspiration or spiritual rituals or whatever. And you're like, ooh, song idea, you know, like a little bell goes off inside your head and you write it down and you tuck it away in your little bag, you know, for later. And then you revisit it and it's like, okay, now you're paying attention. And the muse is like, okay, here's your melody. Okay, here's, you know,
exactly.
And it just comes through. And then I have the weird thing, every once in a while, I'll actually write a song in my sleep.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
In my dreams. And it will just be given to me through my dreams. And I roll over and I grab my phone and I start like mumbling and singing into my phone. And then I get up and I have coffee and then I come back to it later and I'm like, what the hell was that? You know, I can't understand what I'm saying because I'm mumbling. But a lot of times I get it and it becomes a song, you know. So like you, it comes in different ways.
Yeah, there's no certainty for me. Yeah.
I truly believe that musicians are put on this earth to channel spirit, to help others find the light within inside themselves. We make them feel, we make them experience, we make them open.
I agree. And I mean, we talk about, you know, the word music, of course, is related, comes from the same root as the word muse.
Yeah.
That inspiration, that gift from spirit, which is also where museum comes from as well. So there's a sense of this pouring out of creativity, but also collating it. It's not just about being in it. It's actually forming it. It's getting it to a point where it can be shared, you know, and become collective. Yeah.
I love it. I obviously I'm pagan, I'm Wiccan, I worship the goddess and the god and the gods. But if I had to break it down to even less than that, I would say I worship creativity.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I am the type of guy that will cry at a car commercial. If it's done really well, it'll move my soul. Like,
That's
oh my
beautiful.
God, that was so creative. And Victor's like, you're crying at a car commercial. Are you okay? You know,
No, that's hilarious.
but it's the creativity that I'm worshiping in that moment, you know.
Which is the cosmos. That's what the cosmos is creative. That's what God and
Creation.
Goddess and Spirit is this endless process of creating, you know.
The all, the
The
force.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you had a funny experience at a Tasmanian gathering where you went for a hike and then you came back.
Oh yeah, that was a funny one. Yeah, you were asking me about some festivals. That's right. I have another story too for a festival.
Oh, good.
I like as well. So you know, festivals. It's interesting being there as a presenter or performer because you have to kind of keep your wits about you, and you're there to, you're there as a professional doing your job, and you got to show up. But this festival was a bit of a schmozzle. It was their first year. They were extremely disorganized. They had the program kept changing. They'd pin up a small piece of paper each day in tiny print that if you didn't have ×10 magnifying glass, you could hardly see. So I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I know when my workshop today is, But anyway, I thought I'm going to go for a hike before it, because I the last I'd seen it was listed as at like 4 p.m. or something. So it's like noon. I go, I'll just go for a little walk. It was a beautiful wilderness because Tasmania was gorgeous. And so I go for this walk, and then I'm wandering back to the festival grounds. And I kind of, I wasn't dressed elegantly or anything. I just had leggings and no makeup. I was just going out for a little walk, And as I'm walking back to the festival thing, I said, oh, well, I wonder what's going on in that tent. That's a lot of people gathered there. Gee, look at that. That must be an interesting talk. And so I walk up to it, think, oh, maybe I'll attend this before mine. I walk up, and as I get closer, I'm looking at what's written on the board. Then I'm like, oh, 1 p.m., Wendy Rule, the magic of the elements. Look at my phone. It's like 1 p.m. I'm like, oh, okay. The 4 elements. blah, 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 blah. Just start rolling it off like that.
So you plopped down in a chair and just took over.
There weren't even chairs. We were sat in the, I sat on the ground literally. And it's like, here we go. And I just didn't miss a beat. And I was not 1 second late. If I had have just stayed sitting under the tree, I'd been at just a little bit earlier journaling on my hike, But I was literally there at exactly 1 p.m. And it was my workshop. And that's what all the people were gathered for. It's like, oh, my God, imagine if I just didn't show. But anyway.
That's called on time.
It was amazing. Okay, I was thinking of another it might have been my first, maybe my second tour to Australia, to America. I was traveling with my little son, Ruben, who Alexian. He was with me all those early shows. He's 33 now. Can you believe that? He was 8 when you met him.
Adorable when he first came. Yeah. Little guy.
So I was in mama bear kind of mode, protective, and it was this big festival in California. And it was one of those ones that had like an all-night big fire thing and people dance around it all night. So I had gone up to bed early because I had a kid, and so maybe like 10 o'clock or something like that, early-ish, or 9 o'clock. Got him settled and, was in bed reading to him and all that. And then I'm hearing this noise outside the tent, this noise, like animal noise. And I'm like, what is that? And hearing it again, stomping, blomp, 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 blomp. And I look out and there's this huge freaking wild pig, right? And in the myth of the Odyssey, which I've been obsessed with all my life, Odysseus gets charged by a wild boar and gets a knee injury. It's what allows him to be recognized, his scar later on in the story. So I'm like, there's this great big wild pig. It's off a bit to the distance, but I'm like, oh, that's probably, I didn't know what was dangerous and not dangerous So I try to act all cool because I'm there, I'm trying to be all, musician and be all groovy and cool. And so I kind of just sit it out in the early, wee small hours of the morning. The fire circle's still going, and I go down to it, and I just try to be all casual. Oh yeah, hey guys, yeah, what's the deal with the wild boars, wild pigs here? And they're like, wild pigs? I'm like, yeah, I just saw one last night. And they're like, wild pigs. And suddenly it was like this scene out of a movie where everyone goes and gets rakes and shovels and sticks, and there's this whole crazy process. That was like my introduction to kind of America, of like, what's going on here? And it's like, yeah, they're banging saucepans and they're trying to chase this pig out of camp. But what I
wild
found so
boars
funny,
can be voracious. They'll chase you down and hurt you bad. Yeah.
And it was this kind of early introduction to festivals in America of like, we don't have animals that kill you in Australia unless it's in the water, like sharks or crocodiles.
Oh, now I don't know. I've seen some videos of snakes and lizards.
Oh, snakes, that's a different thing, but not
snakes.
carnivores.
They're just everywhere,
Not carnivores. There's no, here you got bears and you got cougars and wild boars. So yeah, it was a funny story, mainly because I was trying to be, early days in America, trying to not freak out as this outsider going, there's a wild boar, but like, hey guys, blah blah blah, and it was everyone else who freaked out. It was hilarious.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It was so funny. Anyway, la di da.
That's fun. No, that's a good story.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I actually have not seen a wild boar in the wild
Yeah.
yet in my life. Of course, I was raised in southern Missouri, and of course the Ozarks and Arkansas. They're all over the place. But I've never seen one in the wild. I've seen them in a pen, like they'd be caught,
Well, it was
but
scary.
not like out at foraging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had another story where you met the ferryman in person?
A ferryman, yes. I was thinking you said ferryman, and I'm thinking I have, like you, I'm a big dreamer.
F-E-R-R, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I love mythology, and in my life, I often find that the gods turn, especially I love Greek mythology, that they turn up for me in an actual physical form, embodied in a human form that I meet and talk to in actual real life. And like I've met Artemis at times. I met a Jesus. So there's lots of Jesuses around, but I met a Thoth in New York, like literally. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, wow, well. And then I met he didn't call himself Pan, but definitely met a Pan in Greece. And so this one, okay, I was making my Persephone album, which was the album that kind of like sort of two and a half albums ago. And I'd spent years going back and forward to Greece, researching all the different places associated with the myth of Persephone, going to various temples, doing a lot of rituals. Some were way off the beaten track. Well, I made the album, but of course I still wanted to keep on this journey. I was still very much hooked in, and I still am. I want to write a book about it. But anyway, so I had the album. I was super proud, and I thought I want to make an offering to the gods. And one of the places that I hadn't gone during the research for the album, but I wanted to go and make a film clip for, is a place on the west coast of Greece, and it's called the Necromantion. And it's an archaeological site and ruins, etc. And there's a Byzantine church that's been built on the part of the ruins. You go in, you pay your €3 or whatever, and you can go down into an actual vaulted chamber, ancient vaulted chamber. On the back wall is a carved labyrinth, like a Cretan labyrinth. It's extraordinary. And so I'd really gone out of my way to get to this place, like, as in, like, I flew to Corfu, caught a ferry to the mainland, hired a car, drove for 3 hours, etc. You know, and it was in the off season. I was staying in this little kind of fishing village that I think gets popular during summertime, but this was November. It was actually the Scorpio dark moon. And I'm a Scorpio, so I'm like, this is perfect. I'm going to go to the underworld. This place mythologically was where, it was all during that time, was where one of the gateways into the underworld, and the myth of Persephone is focused on her descent into the underworld. So then I'm going to go along there and I'm going to leave a copy of my album for the gods, for Hades and Persephone. I'm going to make an offering, But so I went along there. I was the only tourist, and the guard. I also had a GoPro. I thought I'll just surreptitiously take some footage. I wasn't going to go through the red tape of getting clearance to do it. And had my GoPro on a kind of, what do you call them, gimbal thing, holding that around to get footage, and occasionally getting some of me. I'd quickly put a veil on and kind of look. If you can see that film clip, Underworld, it's called, on YouTube. But anyway, the guard followed me so closely, like clearly knew who's this weirdo, that there's no way. I'm kind of smiling and nodding and stood at the top of the stairs while I was in this vault. There was no way I could lay a CD down there and get away with it, So I'm like, well, that was disappointing, but, So I went back to my little village, hotel. And then I just thought, the next morning, I thought, I just haven't had, I didn't get enough time. I want to go back. I want to sit and meditate and just be present with it. I want to get some more footage, and I want to really try to see, even if it's under a tree, just leave a CD. But I think, I'll go down and have some coffee first. So I go down to the little village, and there's a couple of Greek men sitting there having coffee, playing their backgammon, And I say, Kalimera, good morning. And they say, Kalimera. And I learned Greek. I speak a bit of Greek, but I was not great at that point, not great now. But anyway, they invite me to come and sit with them. They mainly speak Greek. And so I sit down and we do a conversation, half Greek, half English, moving back and forwards. And they said, what brings you here? This one guy, what brings you here? And I said, I've come here for the necromantion. And in Greece, especially old people, and he was old, are more often than not Orthodox Christian. And you don't just go, I'm here to worship the gods, man, and freak everyone out. Hey, I'm a witch. I'm here for Persephone. But I thought I'll just be polite. I'm here for the underworld. I'm here to go into the underworld, to the necromantion. I'm interested in mythology. He just says straight up, I'm Charon. I'm the ferryman. Just says it like that in English. I'm Charon, Charon, not Chiron, the centaur, Charon. I'm Charon. And Charon is the guy who, in Greek myth, you have to pay the ferryman to get across the river Styx into the underworld, to that whole thing of being buried with coins and stuff, to pay the ferryman. He goes, I'm Charon, I'm the ferryman. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, that was my profession for years. I took people on little cruises down the river Styx to the necromantion. That's my job. I'm the ferryman. And I'm like, well, and because he's talking myth, in that case, Persephone, blah, 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 blah. I made this album. I'm like, Charon, god of the underworld, here's an album for you. And he was so happy.
Wow.
And I thought,
goosebumps.
Yeah, like it was truly it. And it's like I was blocked. And also that wouldn't have happened if I didn't think, and then he told me all this background, hidden knowledge about that site. So when I went back later that day, I was able to look for things. He described that it was all around a marshland that had been drained in modern times, like the 70s or 50s or something. And he knew it before then, hence being able to take people on a ferry, on a little, kind of like a little, not a big ferry, like a little raft, little boat, So, yeah. So that's when I met Charon. And I really did meet him. He fessed up.
That is so cool. How old do you think he was?
I would say probably just shy of 80.
You see,
Yeah.
And most people would just go, oh, that's so sweet, some old people, and just pass them by.
Yeah.
Right? But you got to
Oh,
stop and you got to
yeah.
talk to the elders because they know things.
Yeah, he had all this knowledge. I wouldn't have been able to find him. I can't find in books. And he was able to, and because I can read a bit of Greek, he was able to write down stuff for me in Greek that I could then go and research that I'm like, I had no idea and would have been really hard without. It was incredible. Yeah. So that was really, really magical. Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah,
Now, you had mentioned your album Persephone.
Yes.
So let's talk about your older music. And let me ask you this before we flip through all the covers.
Yeah.
If you had to choose one album out of the many that you've released, which one is your favorite and why?
Ooh, well,
I know, tough
I
question.
love Zero, of course, my firstborn. But often, like, now as I just keep making, I think Persephone is like, is kind of like, it's so huge, it's so epic, double album, 24 songs long, and it has all this, it's kind of like my opus in a way, but often if someone comes up to my CD table at a show and they're like, I can only buy one, which one do you suggest? Usually what I suggest is the Lotus Eaters. And the reason for that is, well, I love the album. I love so many songs. It's got Hecate on it, which is like my most famous song. But it's also, I think it's just very diverse. It's, there's something about that I really love. But yeah, so, and, my second album, Deity, I love a lot of the songs in that. I still perform a lot of the songs from Deity, but I don't love the production so much on it. It's great. I didn't like the
wonderful.
Oh, thank you. It's very epic.
I am the mother, I am the maiden, I am the mother, I am the crone. That song, Deity, we used that in a local production of our Samhain ritual for the community. And it brought so many people to tears in that moment. I cannot tell you. Like the impact that song made on the local community here in Central Florida, because we used it in the ritual, All right, so let's start flipping through here. So you would say Lotus Eaters then?
That's a kind of good all-rounder. But I think I also like to recommend to people just start at the beginning because Zero has all that potency. That came out when I was 30. That was when my first album came out in 96. And I'd been singing jazz and I was doing musical theatre and stuff before, but it wasn't till Ruben was born in 92 that I began writing my own stuff. And so it has, so that's why it has the song Child the First on it to him. And I'd also, coinciding with birthing Ruben, I discovered witchcraft around that time too. I'd always been interested, but it all just locked in, and it was witchcraft, becoming a mum, and this massive creative flow. It was just this outpouring. And I think too, so I was writing during those intense late 20s of, Saturn return and all that. That's the Prometheus stuff, that there's a lot of emotional intensity on that album and very honest. I was going through a hard time, a lot of it too. I was suffering a lot from depression, and part of that process of surviving through that was this outpouring, this honest outpouring of singing my pain and my joy, So there's something to me like really magical about Zero.
It's called exorcism.
Yeah, that's right.
It really is. It's a type of exorcism. When you take an emotion, even a memory, like a traumatic memory in your life, and you fixate it into art, whether it be drawing, painting, sculpting, or a song, it gets it out of you and in before you, and then you're able to look at it, right? And then you get to choose whether you share it with other people or perhaps the world, or destroy it.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
You can also destroy it. So I've often recommended to people who are dealing with trauma to draw the trauma, draw the horror,
Yeah.
draw, paint, splatter the blood on the canvas, you know,
Mm-hmm.
put it in a corner, look at it every day, acknowledge the pain, know
Yeah.
that it is no longer in you, it is outside you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you will never forget, but you can get rid of the emotional impact and the psychological impact. And
Mhm.
then you destroy it, you burn it, you bury it, you stab it, you do whatever you want to it.
Yeah.
And that might also be releasing it to the world so it helps others find their trauma to release.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's so
art
true.
is so powerful. Okay, let's flip through your album. So we got Persephone there.
Yeah. Oh, that's Black Snake. That's an interesting one. That came out in 2014, so it's about 10. You look, before my grey hair came through. Well, before I was owning it, at least. Then that's Guided by Venus. That was 2010. And it's all just a collection of love songs that were songs in honor of Venus. So love in all its myriad forms, to self, to goddess, to lovers, to kids, to everything, friends. Yeah.
So a quick question before we go further. For your photography of yourself and your album covers, do you have a photographer that you work with?
I have different ones. It's always been different.
Different
Pretty
ones.
much each.
Okay.
It's sort of worked out. This one here, that was taken by my friend Nicholas Verso, who is a renowned filmmaker. Actually, and he's not a professional photographer. He's a filmmaker, but he's a dear friend. He's a witch, fellow Scorpio, and
So he has the eye.
he did, and he knows me as well.
Yeah.
And so he also took oh no, he took video footage for my World Between World albums, but my first husband Bob took that photo. Yeah, it's different for each one. The last two, Meadowlark and Persephone, I've been working with an amazing photographer here in New Mexico called Karen Kuhn. She did all those she did that Hecate, that dramatic Hecate photo shoot for that one. This is an Australian photographer. So that's the Wolf Sky. She lives in New York now. She's a fantastic woman. Just different depends on the vibe that I'm after. Yeah.
Now some people don't recognize it, but aren't those like feathers in front
They're
of your
raven feathers. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
roadkill raven that I found, an Australian raven. So
I'm saying that for Sandra who's watching.
yeah. So poor dear thing. I saw it dead on the side of the road, freshly killed, hit by a car, clearly. And so I did the gruesome thing of taking its wings and to use in ritual, and then burying its body and in gratitude and preserving the wings. And I kept them for years and years. And actually, I even brought them here that by this stage, they'd looked so scrappy that I actually left them. I have a little Hecate grove, and I left them outside in the Hecate. I gave them back to Mother Earth.
There you go.
Yeah. And there's the lotus cedars. And so that's kind of, that is all very loosely based on the myth of the Odyssey. It kind of goes through all the characters. I sing as Odysseus, I sing as Calypso, but it's more just like my own personal Odyssey. It references the myth, but it's not a retelling like Persephone is. Yeah. And then World Between Worlds. That's the one album where it's based more on Irish myth rather than Greek myth. So I'd gate crashed a course in Irish mythology and magic. Like, how could I not, at Melbourne University? I just started going along and didn't enroll or anything, just turned up and learned all this stuff about Irish myth and wrote that album from that. So, yeah.
Wow.
And Deity, my second album. So, I mean, I had my very first album, and then that gave me a lot of confidence. So I come out, dun, da, 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 it's like out and proud as a witch and like fully channeling goddess energy. I've got a long sleeve dress on, so you can't see, but I have maybe this tattoo. That snake you can see the tail of it here.
Let me spotlight you.
Yeah. I can only get my sleeve up that far, but I have the snakes from that album on that arm. So here it is. Oh, I'm going to get, now that I'll be 60 next year. So I
Wow.
feel like I'm ready to get the black snake going down. So I've got the reds. Yeah, I want to get this black snake that's on there going down. So but anyway,
because your birthday is Samhain, isn't it?
it is Samhain. Yep.
Yeah.
So
So you were
31st.
a Samhain of 66.
Samhain 66. Yep. Yeah.
So I'm a little older than you.
Are you my big brother?
April 4th, 66.
Oh, that's awesome. There's
Yeah.
something very magical about 66. I'm listening to Sinead O'Connor's audiobook at the moment, which she's reading. She's a 66 baby as well. Very wild, those 66 years. And there's me as a maiden, naive, going, please accept me and my weirdness, dear world.
You're fabulous. Yes, Zero was amazing. We stocked that album. And of course, well, Continental, what is it? Continental
Isolation. Yeah, I have a little
Isolation.
EP. Yeah, that's the opening track of Zero. And then I have Meditations on the Four Elements. And I just made, that came out in, I think, 2007. And I just, like, in May, released a new meditation album called Darkness and Light. It's an ambient album, double album. So that came out in May this year. And it's kind of like the sister album to Meditations. So, yeah, I'm really proud of that. Yeah.
I'm actually getting ready to record all of the meditations that I wrote for the Coven training over the last 35 years. I'm going to take meditations and set them into recorded form and release them. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I'll get it done.
Yeah, you bet it is. Oh, Beneath the Below, that was that's a kind of ambient trance album with lots of vocalization but no lyrics, and that's a collaboration with my friend Craig Patterson, who was we had a band for years. It was myself singing, Rachel on cello, and Craig on keys, and it was just the three of us. And so this was a side project I did with Craig. So Craig played on all of my early albums, all up until Guided by Venus. I think he even did a guest on Black Snake. He didn't play on Persephone, but yeah. So Beneath the Below was a really good music for ritual because it doesn't have lyrics. Sometimes you don't want lyrics in ritual.
Instrumental, yes.
Yeah. And then that is that's the first album I created with my husband Timothy Van Diest. It's really his concept that I'm singing on. So again, ambient, spacious soundscapes, and then that move through the actual frequencies. He tuned the instruments to the solfeggio frequencies, and then I'm singing very spacious vocals on that. Again, really good ritual stuff. Yeah.
I just love the fact that you use the word solfeggio.
Yeah. Well, it's really his project. It's his baby, and I'm just supporting him in that, like he so often does for me. Yeah. Oh, and this one, the Fairy album, that was with that festival where there was the pig. That's where I met Gary Stadler. He saw me perform and asked if I would like to do his next fairy album. And he'd begun this series of albums about fairies, like Fairy Heart Magic, I think was his first one. And he'd have a different female vocalist for each one. So he said to me, would you, this is what I do. Would you be interested in collaborating and on a co-writing and performing on my fairy album? Are you into fairies? I said, yeah, I love fairies. And I do. I've always have. But for me, fairy isn't necessarily flitting around on sometimes, but the fae, just the spirit of nature. So I said, yep, I'll do it, only if it's dark, scary fairy of the forest kind of thing. And he said, okay. So we ended up with this album that's my kind of lightest album and his darkest album.
You met in the middle. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we actually carried all of Gary Sadler's albums in paganmusic.com, and we were carrying your albums. And then I remember when Victor was like, well, I be, and I'm like, what's what? And he's like, Wendy and Gary Sadler are doing an album together. And I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah, that's
because
it.
you guys are like, light and dark. But like you said, you met in the middle, right? You met in the middle.
Exactly, we did. I'm just reading April's comment there on she said Fire Horse is my favorite song. It's on the Wolf Sky album. Oh, that's really nice. That's lovely.
Very cool.
Yes, that is about 1966 is the year of the Fire Horse. So yeah. Oh, yeah, that's my old jazz album. Wow, that's well out of print now, but I still have it up on my Bandcamp page.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
I
you
used
go.
to be a jazz singer. That's what I did before I was writing my own stuff. That's what kind of got me through college, you know. And so, yeah, and I still, every now and then, I have a friend who I perform jazz with. He lives in England now, but if ever we're together, we usually try to do some little jazz show. And yeah, I have a huge
Cool.
repertoire I can pull out of my proverbial at no notice of jazz songs. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. Live at the Castle. Tim did that front cover, which I really love.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cute. That the castle was a venue in northern New South Wales, up near Byron Bay, which is kind of hippie land, and it actually reminds me of kind of the Shire and Lord of the Rings. It's very green and lush and pretty, and there was this kind of like in the 30s where that mock medieval look became popular in
Yes.
architecture. There were follies and stuff made, so it was a building from the 30s that was made to look like a castle. And Tim and I did a show there, and at the end, the sound guy says, "Hey, I recorded that," and we listened back, and it's like, oh man, I had no idea it was getting recorded. So it's a true live album in that way. Yeah,
Nice. Even
Yeah.
better that you don't know you're being recorded, right?
exactly. That's
Takes
it.
the pressure off.
Yeah, and that's a really old live one. Oh my goddess, that's wow! Look at that, 97.
That's the year we found you.
That's right. So that was the year after my Zero came out, and a similar situation, but that one I knew was getting recorded. So it was a beautiful gig in a gorgeous venue with really exquisite sound, and we thought, okay, we're going to record this. So, and there's a song on the live album, the 97 one, that isn't on anything else at all. It's called Wednesday, and it's a pretty cool song. It just never ended up on anything else. So you'll find it all on my Bandcamp, though. Yeah. And that's a little, that's that story there. See, I'm in those boots. The designer put a light under the boot, which doesn't make sense. But that was actually a genuine photo of me in a black satin catsuit on the roof of a building in Melbourne, which on this street that's Melbourne, there's a lot of buildings from the 1800s because it had a gold rush about the same time as California did. And so I clambered up onto this roof. It must have been someone's place that we knew. And in my high heels with an actual freaking bow and arrow, and I'm pulling back an actual arrow, but I had duct taped the arrow to the string so I didn't kill anyone down on the shopping.
Good idea.
So, yeah. So anyway, there's that. And so that's an interesting little one in that it's a completely different recording of my song Artemis, because I recorded that on Deity, and I didn't like the producer I worked with Deity. That's why I have a bit mixed feelings, even though the outcome of it I loved. Working with him, I didn't like him. He was misogynistic and horrible in that old kind of, as though he was an 80s studio guy.
Gotcha.
So I went back. I loved that song so much, and I went back and I re-recorded that song with Adam Kalatsis, who was the producer of Zero and who I've done loads of albums with. Black Snake, Persephone, the Meditation album, Wolf Sky, they're all Adams. So I went back and recorded that, and I also did a cover of the Echo and the Bunnymen song, The Killing Moon. They're fantastic 80s band, UK band. And yeah, so I really love that cover. It's very epic. And I've got the little Southern Cross up there in the sky representing my Southern Hemisphere heritage.
The things we do for art, huh?
Oh, yeah, you bet. And then, yeah, that Continental Isolation is the first track from Zero. And it was pretty customary at that point to release EPs, like 3 or 4 track EPs, as a kind of interlude between major albums and to stretch the album a bit further. And my first husband, Bob, was a graphic designer, so he did the cover for that one, which I really love. But what I like about these EPs is they have some really obscure kind of like B-side sort of things. Just I'm trying to think what's on that one. It might be a song on that one called Breathe. I know that's on one of the 2 EPs. I can't remember. But yeah, there's a couple of obscure songs that aren't on any other albums that are on those EPs. You can find them on the streaming places, yeah, and on my Bandcamp, yeah. Oh, and there's Meadowlark. I'm wearing this dress right now.
There you
And
go.
I'm in that house right now. I'm looking out for, see that front window there? I'm looking out of that right now. That's through there. So that's my home. And this is my last album. The home is called Meadowlark. It's in northern New Mexico. And it's called Meadowlark after the beautiful meadowlark bird, which has a yellow chest, and it's a yellow house. And I wanted to do an album fully in honor of this extraordinary thing that happened, that we bought a house and we love it and it's our forever home. And so I wanted this sense of ecstatic celebration, and the songs on the album are really anchored in the immediate nature of this landscape, you know, and which I love. It's just gorgeous. That was actually recorded in that photo was taken in February of last year, so it was actually very cold. Doesn't look it there, but it was really freaking freezing.
Cold and dry.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my latest. Oh, and then you have Darkness and Light. It's a little hard to see. Well, it's a very dark cover, but it's so that's what I recorded this year, and I've been thinking about doing that album for ages. And just wanted to find the time, but I used that album as an opportunity to finally learn to have hands-on to the recording software. So, which usually I've literally sat in on every single session, recording and mixing session for like 30 years of doing that. You know, 0 is 29, will be 30 next year. So all that time of doing that. But I'm always telling someone else, no, a bit more like that. And so this was my opportunity to learn that software myself. Tim taught me. Yes, I learned Logic Pro. And so I recorded. Yeah. And I just loved the process so much. It was so relaxing. And, you know, and I started with a gentle ambient album, took the pressure off. So I played every instrument on the album of actual live instruments. I played obviously loads of singing, electric guitar, bass guitar, and keys. And then all the other instruments that don't sound like that are MIDI versions of. I don't actually play, you know, French horn or harp or celeste or whatever it's called. But it was a hoot, and you know, lots of synthy stuff. And I recorded. I used some actual animal sounds too, some ravens and coyotes, and so
love it.
Yeah, so that's my last album. Yeah,
it's so artistic doing your own music, isn't it?
It's just
like mixing it. I mean,
it was amazing. It just took the pressure off too. I could be as detailed as I wanted to. All my Virgo planets got nurtured because I could just be incredibly OCD about the editing. And then Tim's a really good sound engineer, so he mixed it and mastered it. And so it was, and then my friend Vicky, who did the Persephone front cover, she painted the front cover for that, and I really love that painting. It doesn't turn up so well on the screen, but it really is beautiful in real life. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So Wendy has generously donated a copy of Meadowlark and Darkness and Light download links for those two albums for today's Arcane Treasures giveaway. So this is your first chance to enter. Just type #dark into the YouTube comments now. That's #dark. We'll be running the drawing at the end of the show. Okay, so get your entries in now. Just type #dark. And don't forget, you can also type your questions into the chat. Draken is covering them, and we'll pop them up at the end of talking to Wendy and ask her the questions that you have for her. So now, Wendy,
yes,
you have a new recording you're working on?
No, at the moment, because this only came out in May. So and then I went to Europe for a month. Then I came back for a month. Then I went to Australia for 3 weeks, and I've been back 3 weeks from that. So
any plans for upcoming tours? performing?
Lots. I've got, so the next time I jump on an aeroplane will be in October for the Hex Fest festival in Northern California that is run by the absolutely wonderful pagan songstress Sharon Knight. Do you know Sharon? She'd be a great.
I do.
She'd
She's
be a great
awesome.
guest on here. She's just a total darling heart. So I'm performing there. I've got Albuquerque Pagan Pride Day coming up in the end of September, last weekend of September. And then back here for Samhain, and I'll be running my Samhain retreat. I usually run an annual Samhain retreat, either Samhain or Beltane, here at Meadowlark. So that's this October. And it was sold out, but then we just had a cancellation. So there's one room available for that. So that you can check that out on my website. It's from Thursday the 30th of October to Monday, the whatever that is, 3rd or 4th or something of November. And it includes my birthday party because that's on the Friday. So that'll be fun.
Cool.
So that's that. And then I'm back to Australia in December for a December-January tour. And then next year, I want to begin, though I'm not going to say I want to. I am beginning, because it's full moon, we're manifesting right now. I want to write a book on, I am writing a book.
So mould it be?
Yes, so might it be. On darkness and light. I want to write the companion book to that album because I think I've been intending to write a book about the Persephone journey, and I will, but I loved that Darkness and Light album experience so much. And I thought, well, just exploring that polarity, those cycles of nature would be a wonderful vehicle for essentially sharing my entire philosophy of what my witchcraft philosophy is. It would be a great canvas for that. So I'll be chatting to Llewellyn about that, see if they're keen. They've expressed interest in previous stuff I've suggested. So that's what next year is kind of put aside for. And as well as a whole heap of other things, more retreats, more tours. There's always more tours.
You are one of the busiest pagan musicians I know with the touring. I mean, you're always going.
Well, I love traveling.
But you're not, you've always loved the travel. We actually had a long conversation about that a long time ago.
Yeah.
You're not just doing music anymore, though.
No.
Besides the authorship that you're now birthing, you now offer the retreats that you've been talking about.
Yeah.
But your home is actually like an Airbnb called Meadowlark, right?
It is. It's so we've got this big house. So we've got this house. Oh, thank you. We've got the main house, which we include in the retreats. But there's also on the property that we bought. There's it came with a guest house. So we did that up, and mainly Tim runs that as an Airbnb. And that's been great because it's really cute. We love being hosts. It's just, I think because I'm a traveler, I know what is needed when you're traveling. It's just intuitive.
Yeah.
So we're really natural hosts. We're super hosts on Airbnb. And so that is, you can look it up. We're in Las Vegas, New Mexico, the original Las Vegas. And it's called Meadowlark Guest House. So that's really lovely. And the good thing about that too is it has taken a little bit of the financial pressure off me now so that I can, yes, I love traveling, but touring is grueling and you're lugging a lot of heavy gear and you're catching flights and they might be delayed and you're driving vast distances. It's tiring,
Yeah.
And so the Airbnb has allowed me to pull back a bit when I am touring, that I don't have to be working every night or 6 nights out of the week. I can be nurturing myself more, not couch surfing, getting a lovely Airbnb while I'm on the road, just dialing it in a little bit more so that it doesn't feel like a slog. And that's because of Tim's work with the Airbnb and me too, in that I'm the one who people are interfacing with. He does all the cleaning and maintenance though, so bless him for that. But it's lovely. And it means then for the retreats, we just block that out. And that's a 3-bedroom house. We've got kind of 3 rooms upstairs here, and then various other little nooks and sofa beds and stuff. And people also, the town's only 7 minutes away, so some people choose to stay at a hotel in town as well. So, yeah. Oh, there you go. You found it. Yay. Let me have have a look at that? There it is. Yeah, it's really sweet and has these beautiful, beautiful views, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks lovely.
Thank
You
you.
took
Well,
the
visit.
tour route, and I stayed home and took the music lessons route, right?
Yes, that's
I've
it.
been
Yeah.
teaching music lessons now. Next year will be 35 years.
Oh,
No, this year is
congratulations.
35 years. This year is 35 years. And I just alerted Victor that I'm thinking of retiring from teaching one-on-one
Yes.
next year.
Oh,
And
exciting.
I'm
Yeah.
going to then take that extra time that I have all of a sudden in my calendar, and I'm going to take all my knowledge, because I have like this inward responsibility. I feel that I still need to pass it down.
Yeah.
I'm going to make online courses,
Oh,
right?
that'd be awesome.
Which I've
Yeah.
been talking about for years, but
Yeah,
no
you
time
do
to
really
do
well
it,
with that.
right?
Yeah.
So I'll get all of that out, and then the rest of the time will just be writing, recording, and releasing,
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
We're both at that age where we're like, okay, time for a new chapter, right?
Oh, I just saw a message from Craig Dalrymple, and there's an exciting event coming up in October. You can look on my website for it, and it's called the Weirdsville Weekend. So I'm one of the performers for that. It's an online event, free online event. So that's coming up in October, and so yeah, I've got a busy October actually. It's
Is the season.
It's the season. So that's called that's called Weirdsville Weekend, and you can find a link to that on my website at wendyrule.com. So yeah, that's going to be really fun. And I am a weirdo, so we're all weirdos, aren't we?
We're all weirdos. That's why we love you.
But getting back to your teaching too, that's exciting. And I think being able to one-on-one is lovely, but that's a luxury for people to get that precious time with you, but to be able to share your expertise more broadly. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it will do well, because I'm not trying to brag, but like, people pay me $100 an hour to study with me, and if I put it into a course, I can charge less, right? And so more people will be able to access that.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
I just think that's absolutely wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's the decision I didn't come to lightly. But you had just mentioned your website.
Yeah.
And here we go. So if you would like to explore Wendy's enchanting world and dive deeper into her discography, visit wendyrule.com, and everything is linked back to there, right?
Yep, everything.
And
you'll find everything there. There's the
more pictures
info about the upcoming retreat. There's most of my shows are up there if I get around to it. That's one of those my friend Kellyanna, have you had Kellyanna on?
Oh yeah, I love Kellyanna.
She's so darling. I really must. I'm overdue for a phone call with her. We're very good friends. She toured Australia with me once, actually. She's great. She put me onto that Bandzoogle, the website host. Do you know about that? They're great. So I was able to make my website completely myself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really good, because I'm always needing to update it, and I used to have to outsource that updating for any tiny thing. So I'm very much into kind of getting self-sufficient with all that stuff, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, it is fun. I enjoy it too. I'm a big old geek though, so I enjoy all the tech.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring Draken back on. How you doing?
Hello.
Oh, hello.
So do we have any questions from our viewers for Wendy?
We had one good question, but Wendy, she was eagle-eyed. She caught it. She answered it. But I was actually, when you were talking about, like, using the software and all of that, do you think you'll self-produce from now on?
Well, it's very much a collaboration with Tim and I. I don't think I'm yet at the point. I think it'd be a while before I would be able to develop the expertise for mixing and mastering that he has, because he's been doing it for years. But definitely the next major album, I want it just to be Tim and I producing it, because we got halfway there with Meadowlark. We tracked everything here at home, we have a home studio here. So we recorded all that. Though there was a bit of back and forth because my son played on that and he was playing in Melbourne, but then it was mixed by a guy in Melbourne. But we just want to take out that last step so that, that said, both Tim and I really love working with Adam in Melbourne, Adam Kalatsis. And so I think sometimes he's really great with the big epic stuff. It'd be nice to run through his expertise to sign off on things. And sometimes when I'm in Melbourne too, I like recording with him, especially because that allows me to work with the Melbourne musicians that I'm used to working with, So I think there'll still be a little bit of mainly Tim and I, and a little bit of working with some outsourcing some stuff too. But definitely for me, I would love to do a whole series now. That I love ambient music. I mainly listen to ambient music. That's mainly what I listen to. And so I'd just like to continue doing more and more of that for myself, and songy albums as well. I'm always going to keep writing songs, but yeah, I loved that process so much. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I was also going to say, we're obviously all close in age, but my birthday is October 3rd.
Oh,
so we're right there together.
Are you the same year, 66?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, look at us. It's a fire horse gathering.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's amazing. Wow. So so we've got Aries and Libra and Scorpio that year here. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And because the interesting thing too, that being the age we are, well, you're now
59.
You're
60.
Is we've just gone through or are finishing up our second Saturn return. So I don't know how it was for you. It felt really brutal for me. I thought I'd be able to navigate it really, really easily, of like, I know what I'm doing in life. But the whole thing with Saturn return is it pulls the rug out from under you, and it's stuff that is that you would never expect could create upheaval. It's the Tower card coming along, and it definitely hit me hard, on some big personal upheaval in one part of my life. And that's now settled down. And sure, I learned a whole heap, and that's what Saturn does, is it strips away all the dross and you're left with the core structure, and you can see clearly even those decisions, like you're saying, Alexian, like you're deciding to wind back the one-on-one teaching, that's that Saturn return. There is a certain wisdom, that comes with that. And I was always hesitant to kind of label myself crone. At this point I'm thinking, I'm too young for crone. I'm in queen stage, even though some people say croning is after, you've reached menopause or something. And that was years ago for me. It's like, no, I'm not. But once I went through that Saturn return, I'm like, I'm claiming that. Like I've gone through that next layer of stripping back and rebuilding. That's why I want to get my black snake down here. I'm ready for it now. Yeah.
It is weird at this age to be like, certainly I've dealt with everything now, but you never have.
They never have. And it's
never
just
dealt
keeps
with
happening.
Everything. It just keeps going.
Yeah. And you have I think you can develop better coping techniques,
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But the wheel keeps turning, the stars keep cycling through and triggering your natal planets, and stuff is going to continue to happen. It's just about our response to that stuff,
Reaction, action, reaction. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes too, it's as though, I'll know how to. That's what I was thinking. What shocked me was my inability to deal with a difficult situation at the time, like of kind of like self-disappointment, of like, why couldn't I have dealt with that better? And after all my years of blah, blah, blah. And it's like, because sometimes we're just human in our frailties. We're not gods. We don't know everything,
No.
Yeah.
No. You have to go through it,
Yeah. I just saw April just saying there, my friend April up the highway in Colorado, because I think April is a 1966 as well, I think, maybe around about that time. April and I met each other when we jumped off a cliff together in California, I think it was like Yosemite or something like that. I was camping and she was too, and there was this big cliff with a great big pool of water that all the local kids would kind of jump off into, like really high, really, really high. And April was next in line in front of me, and I thought, if she can do it, I can do it. So we jumped off, this cliff. We didn't know each other, but I noticed a pentacle, and we, recognized each other as witches. And then it was like 2 weeks later, we bumped into each other on the beach in Santa Cruz. It was crazy.
That's
We've been friends ever since. That was 2001.
This
I can hear
absolutely
Victor
reminds
from the
me.
other room. Oh, no. Not
On
jumping
the
off
cliff.
It does
has a
remind
fear
me
of
though,
heights.
as if your friends jumped off a cliff, would you do it too?
Yeah.
Apparently for Wendy, that is a yes.
That at the same time. And people you just met too.
Exactly. That's it.
Oh my goodness. So have you clicked the karma button yet? Give the like button a high five and subscribe, and tap the bell for a better chance at winning that Arcane Treasures giveaway,
67.
which is coming right up.
Yeah.
Don't go away. We'll be right back and have a little fun with Wendy after this short sponsor break.
Are you ready to elevate your brand and connect with a dynamic and growing community? We invite pagan-minded businesses and services to sponsor our live YouTube show, where your brand can shine. Visit alexianmusic.com/sponsor to explore this exciting opportunity. Imagine your logo taking center stage, just like our other esteemed sponsors. Join us in celebrating our shared passions and reach a dedicated audience. We can't wait to welcome you on board. Our sponsors for today's show are... Have you heard of paganmusic.com? It's a site run by Alexian and his husband Victor, who have been championing pagan music for over 30 years. They founded Earth Tone Studios in 1993 and took their support online in 1997 at paganmusic.com. They're now liquidating their stock, and some items have turned into rare collector's pieces. After the liquidation, they plan to evolve paganmusic.com into a resource hub, continuing their dedication to all pagan recording artists. Today, paganmusic.com is excited to donate a $25 cart checkout coupon for the Arcane Treasures Giveaway at the end of the show. We hope it brings the winner some joyous pagan shopping. Today's show is also proudly sponsored by Alexian's official website as pagan recording artist, alexianmusic.com, where you can explore a world of pagan music and artistry. At alexianmusic.com, you'll discover a treasure trove of resources, including music recordings, online courses, as well as the Cool Cats community. Join him for bonfire bardic circles, magical spells, recipes, rituals, daily tarot videos, spiritual discussions, pentacle parties, songwriting classes, book swaps, meditations, and so much more. Be part of the fun and enrich your spiritual journey. Today, Alexian is offering a complimentary Rooted Kitten ongoing membership to the Coven of Cool Cats in the giveaway. This $4 per month membership grants you access to his vibrant and growing community. Alexian is also including a limited edition Alexian Show fridge magnet up for grabs during the Arcane Treasures giveaway at the end of the show. Don't miss your chance to snag this unique collectible and be part of the Alexian adventure. Our sponsors funded today's show, covering equipment, streaming software, and staff. Please support them as they support us. And now let's get back to the show.
Okay.
That was awesome. It's so professional, your setup. Well done. Yeah.
It is time
That's
for
great.
the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to
All right.
bring up this thing. And you have 1 minute to jot down a quick answer to the 3 questions. And then after the clock runs out, we'll ask them again and let you expound upon your answers. Are you ready?
All right, here we go. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. If you had to speak in only song lyrics for an entire day, what song would you use most? If you had to speak in only song lyrics for an entire day, what song would you use the most? Question 2. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life and it had to be purple, what would it be? If you could eat only one food for the rest of your life and it had to be purple, what would it be? Okay, last question. How do you foster creativity in your daily routine? How do you foster creativity in your daily routine? Okay, time's up.
Okay.
So, Wendy, if you had to speak in only song lyrics for an entire day, what song would you use the most?
Well, gee, I'm not great at thinking on my feet in that way. The first one that came up was a Smiths song, Cemetery Gates, because I thought it'd be nice to reference Keats and Yeats, would be kind of cool. But then I thought Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds would be quite nice too, because it's just, you'd kind of just be in this beautiful, tripped out, lovely state. Yeah, that's what came through. Yeah.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, but it had to be purple, what would it be?
Well, I went with eggplant because you can do so many great things with eggplant. You can have melanzana salata, like eggplant dip. You could do some kind of nice, I don't know if we're allowed to use like oil and stuff as well, but like fried eggplants. Really
well, yeah, no, it's just, the main ingredient.
The main ingredient. Well, and it had to be purple. What other options are there? Blueberries.
Grapes.
Blueberries, blackberries. See, I immediately went to blueberries. I didn't even think of eggplant, but I could totally see that. You doing
I think eggplant, you could do those creamy eggplant dips are pretty yummy.
There's a lot of good foods with eggplant.
You could make it kind of, yeah, exactly. Baba ganoush.
Eggplant parmesan.
Yeah, you could do that. You could bake it. And I think you could also maybe sort of do something that makes like a chip of some sort, you could salted eggplant in the oven, have something crispy. I'm more a savory tooth than a sweet tooth. So now I want to eat eggplant. Now I'm hungry.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Like a craving on you.
And last question. How do you foster creativity in your daily routine?
Always nature. Just that's why I moved here to the countryside. Just get out. I started my day at just after 6 this morning. I got a coffee. I sat out on the front porch, and it was really misty. It's been crazy here. It was crazily misty for the desert, and I just thought that's where all my wisdom and insights come from. That and just trying to stay present. So I try to journal each day, do the morning pages. Doesn't end up being every day, but nature, and also just, I guess, on a daily basis, just a sense of kind of dedication of regarding myself primarily, first and foremost, as an artist of all sorts. It doesn't have to be just music. I love sewing. I love, today I made my Pisces altar for the full moon, all those little things, just bringing creativity to every part of my life, all the little things, even like my eye makeup today was choosing that on the basis of the Pisces full moon. Everything can be creative, Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to think more about the song though. I'd probably really, really end up hating the Smiths after that one song. I'll probably do get through only half an hour, I think.
Okay, it's time for the teaser reveal. I teased a question at the beginning, or a tidbit at the beginning of the show. So it's finally time to tell us the full story about how Dionysus showed up to your.
That's a great story. I love it. Okay, as I mentioned, in my life, magic kind of finds its way through. I think it's there for everybody. I just take a lot of notice. So I get a lot of synchronicities, and I have, as I mentioned with the Charon story, had direct encounters with gods in various ways, meeting them exactly when I needed to. So Tim and I got married on 11/11/11 in Melbourne. So it was Beltane season in Melbourne. It was just a day or two after the full moon. So essentially Beltane. And we got married. I had this old house in Melbourne that was an old Victorian cottage, and it backed onto this parkland. It was all run down and bohemian. It backed onto this parkland, and from the parkland you could see the whole skyline of Melbourne, and it was beautiful. So we wanted to have the party at the house, and I got permission from the council to be able to hold a giant party, you know, and it was a great, big, amazing thing, you know. But part of the deal with what the council said to get the permit to hold the party there, because I've thrown many parties over the years, but they always end up with the police arriving, you know, and thought not on my wedding. So part of that deal was I had to letter drop all the neighbours in the area and let them know that this party was going to be happening. And I thought, well, I'll just invite everyone, you know. So there was a great sense of open invitation. Please feel free to come along. To people I didn't know, you know, please feel free to come along and share in a glass of champagne, or, you know, and celebrate with us. So there was already that sense of opening up, you know. So the party went on, and it got down to the wee small hours, and it had got smaller and smaller. We had a mariachi band at the party too. It was hilarious. And it got smaller and smaller until it was like 5 a.m. and 4 or 5, and we're sitting around a fire pit. There might have been a dozen of us or something, back inside the backyard, but the gates to the park were open. And this guy walks in, and by this stage I hadn't known who was coming and going at the party. Neighbours people who I'd never met were there because of the open invitation, you know, as well as the million friends. This guy walks in, and he looks Grecian. He's got this mop of curly black hair, handsome, straight Grecian nose and all that. And he looks like he's about 35, 30, something like that. And he comes in and goes, "Oh, can I join you?" And I'm like, absolutely. You know, pull up a chair or a rock or something to sit on. Come and join us. So he comes and joins us, and I say, "What's your name?" And he says straight up, "Dionysus." And I'm like, "Dionysus? I know you pronounce it Dionysus. I think in America, in Greece you do too, but in Australia we say Dionysus." So he says, "Dionysus." I'm like, "Well, welcome, Dionysus. May I get you a glass of wine?" You know, he's like, "That'd be lovely, thanks." So he hung out until we all saw the dawn together, our group, you know, then finally off we went to bed. The next morning on our doorstep was a bottle of wine and a note. "Thank you for inviting me to your wedding. Here's a gift from Dionysus." And it was a bottle of wine, like truly left on our front door. Like we got a direct blessing from, and I think it's that, you know, in ancient Greek culture, there was a thing, you know, called xenophilia. We hear about xenophobia, which is, or xenophobia as it's pronounced here, which is so prevalent right now with all this horrible immigration crap and ICE raids and all that. Xenophobia is, you know, having its day at the moment, which is fear of the other, really. Yeah. Fear of the...
Don't get me started.
Yes, I know. Fear of the foreigner, you know. Well, xenophilia is love of the foreigner. And there was a really, there is a kind of built into your culture, into ancient Greek culture, was if a traveller arrives at your door, you welcome them in, and before you ask any questions, you feed them and you make sure they've had a drink and they've had food and they've got a comfy bed. Then you can ask, what are you doing here? You know, that's the ancient Greek way. And I love that. And I even find in modern Greece, there's this great sense of welcoming. And I love that. And I think I was operating by saying, all are welcome. We're not going to assess whether you can or can't come to this community celebration. So I'd opened the doors to the gods. And I think we need to, it's kind of like those fairy stories of you meet an old hag on the road and you know, give her a gift, and lo and behold, oh, it's the goddess, you know, of just being kind and being generous, even if you don't think it has a, just for the joy of it itself. And that's what we were doing. And lo and behold, Dionysus, who I love as a god, turned up. I think it's his full moon today. I think Dionysus is very Piscean, you know, even though, of course, it's Poseidon too, but that ecstatic connection with the universe. And so there he was at our drunken late night end of the very early hours. And I think it was just pure magic. I truly met Dionysus. He looked like him too.
It sounds like you didn't have a wedding reception. You had a one-day festival.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was great. It was beautiful. And it was all, we did, you know, a hand fasting in the circle of flowers. And I didn't, I had friends that just asked different friends to represent the elements, but didn't, I said, just come up to us and just give a blessing and you work out what you want to say. Nothing was scripted, you know, it was just like being right there present, and it was so beautiful. And yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's
You're
amazing.
welcome. It was amazing. Yeah.
It's a precious memory too
For
for your wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming up to 14 years now this year. Amazing.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So everyone, the moment you've been waiting for has finally arrived. It's time for the Arcane Treasures Giveaway drawing. So to enter, just type #dark into the YouTube comments to enter. But before we draw, it's your last chance for karma points. Spank that like button, subscribe, and poke the bell. All right, everyone, you've got 1 minute to enter #dark into the YouTube comments. I see there are 6 people watching right now live, and we only have 3 entries. Who's not entering? Put your name in now. Here we go. There's the clock. All right, Draken, tell us what they're going to win.
So, someone is about to win, excuse me, digital downloads of Wendy Rule's Meadowlark and Darkness and Light albums, a $25 card coupon for paganmusic.com, a free ongoing membership to Alexian's Cool Cats community, and an Alexian Show limited edition fridge magnet. To enter, just type #dark into the YouTube chat.
Okay, 18 seconds. I don't see the clock move. Oh, we got another entry. Yay! 4 people are entered. Come on, keep it coming. You can win all of those things. All right. Here we go. All right. Are we ready?
Let's do it.
Am I ready? That's the question.
Yeah.
Let me remove that. Let me do this. Let me turn this down. Let me hit this button and that button. All right. Here we go. Good luck, guys. Craig! Craig is the winner. All right. Congrats, Craig, for the Arcane Treasures Giveaway.
Awesome.
Email me directly at lordalexian@gmail.com to claim your treasures. I want to express a heartfelt thank you for both my guests and sponsors today. Wendy, thank you so much for
It
joining.
was such a joy. Thank you. It was really lovely.
It's been a pleasure as always. And to our viewers, if you've missed our previous episodes, you can catch the replays, so be sure to check them out. Draken and I will return next month for episode 20, featuring the amazing pagan goth fine artist, Joy Higgins, airing live on Sunday, October 5th at 3 p.m. That's Sunday, October 5th. Mark your calendars. Have a wonderful, fabulous day, and we'll see you next month. Boss blessings.
Bye.
Love you guys.
See you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.